Hi again all, this is EDPS 340 video lecture number 4. I apologize for video lecture number 3 sort of ending abruptly. I had actually meant to pause, but somehow I ended it. Let's back up just a bit. It would be helpful as we look at the next standardized test score type. If you turn to page 127 in your course pack, where grade equivalent is defined, but I want to talk about it just a little bit. So you can pause, page 127. Alrighty, grade equivalent is one that's easy to get confused. Best explained beyond what I say on page 127 by way of example. So let's say that Dwayne, our man, Dwayne, is in the 4th grade, first month of school. That gives him a temporary designation of 4.1. That's not his score on any test. That's sort of who he is at the moment. He's a 4.1. 4th year of school, first month. Let's say on a math subtest on, say, the Iowa, he gets a grade equivalent of 6.8. What does that mean? Well, what it doesn't mean, and this is important, is that he is, quote, working at the 6th grade, 6th year of school, 8th month level. Not necessarily. What does it mean then? Yeah, when he took whatever tests he took to earn that score, he racked up some scaled score. Remember that? Now, we don't care what his scaled score was, and it doesn't mean much on its own. Maybe it was 231 or 681 or 94. Doesn't matter. Whatever scaled score Dwayne racked up on that test. The question is, when would we usually expect to see that scaled score? At what grade level? Well, Dwayne apparently did so well that whatever scaled score he got, gosh, you wouldn't expect to see that until 6th grade, 8th month. So in one sense, he's working like a 6th grader at the 8th month of school, but you don't want to say that. It just means that he scored like you would expect an average student in the 6th grade, the 8th month, to score. So anything above your basic designation is obviously good. Anything below means you did that much more poorly. I hope that makes sense. I'll review grade equivalent another time, a little bit more. We're looking at the Iowa score sheet, which in the email that brought you this video, I've again attached either a link or the actual page. So the Iowa test. Let's next talk about NS, which actually stands for National Stanine, Stanine. That comes from, folks, Standard 9. And I will explain. And while I'm ripping off this sheet, be aware that on that Iowa sheet that you have, I believe it just says NS, National Stanine. But we're just going to call it Stanine. Yeah, Stanine. Got to talk about the bell curve here again. I'll do my best. Oh, that's not bad. I give that 8 out of 10. What is Stanine? Well, remember that all standardized tests, score distributions for the thousands of kids who typically would take any given standardized test, form the bell curve. A few students do well, a few do quite poorly, and the rest of us poor schmucks are scoring in the middle somewhere, producing a bell curve. And remember, that is a characteristic of standardized tests. They produce the standard or bell curve. That's where the term standardized comes from. All right, Stanine. Everybody gets a Stanine score on these standardized tests. Let's see how this imaginary student did. Again, you need your sheet. Oh, notice the numbers are low. They are, in fact, between 1 and 9. Why is that? Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 3. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Someone's Stanine score just tells us which of the 9 slices of the bell curve that they fall in. So you can only get one of 9 scores. If this is you, and remember this area is made up of thousands of little X's, you might say, people's scores, you got a 3, which is a good chunk below the mean, below average, but you could do worse, such as 1. Ooh, not too many people there. Just as there aren't too many people at 9. You have to score really well to get a 9. So even though you have 9 slices of the bell curve, you don't have an equal number of students in each slice. And again, as hopefully you could see, Stanine 5 is the most common. I was going to say most popular, but that's probably not the right word. Obviously, the middle Stanine slices have the most students in them. Another way of thinking about this is take the middle 3 Stanine scores, 4, 5, and 6. Kind of color all that in. Folks, that's way more than 1/3 of the possible scores, right? So again, as is the nature of the bell curve, you have far more people in the middle than you have at the extremes. So that is Stanine, right? One more little thing about Stanine, if you can see this. Someone might have a score here. Someone else might have a score here. A bit of a distance between them, but they both are given a 7. That's because Stanines are wide. There's only 9 possible scores, not 100. Are we good there? And finally, before I do a review, probably in the next video, you'll notice on that Iowa sheet something called NCE. I'm not going to write it out because I'm too lazy. Normal curve equivalent. And remember, the bell curve is sometimes called the normal curve. That number tells you where a student's score is under the curve, except instead of 9 possible scores, there are 100 slices. Therefore, your score could be anywhere from 1 to 100. And if you're wondering, or saying, wait a minute, that sounds a lot like percentile rank with 100 possible scores. It's a little different in that, I hope this makes sense, percentile rank is exactly 1% of all test takers in each category, so to speak. There's just as many students who got a percentile rank of 0 as got percentile rank of 1, as got percentile rank of 53, as got percentile rank of 99. Whereas normal curve equivalent, because it slices up the curve, in the middle of the curve is higher than the extremes of the curve, you have a different number of students at each possible NCE score. So as you can see here, I'll bring this down. The number of students at the 50th NCE, all these students here are way more than, say, the number here in the, I'll make that up, 87th normal curve equivalent. So again, normal curve equivalent is the bell curve sliced into 100 slices. And wherever you fall, so to speak, that's your normal curve equivalent score. Hope we're good so far. I'm going to pause here before we go to lecture number 5. In lecture 5, I'm going to review all this stuff. Okay?